You might have had one of these tucked away in the back of a drawer. Maybe you sold it off quick for cash. Maybe you traded it in for the next big thing. Or maybe you just gave it away thinking it was nothing more than an old gun. But here's the hard truth. Some firearms don't fade into history. They appreciate like fine whiskey. They don't just hold value. They explode in value. And what used to be a simple tool can become a collector's prize. The kind of prize that turned ordinary owners into legends overnight. This is the Gunsmith Forge, and today we're counting down 10 firearms that turned everyday shooters into wealthy collectors. If one of these rings a bell, you might want to check the back of your safe, or kick yourself if you already let it go. Number 10. The Colt Python. If you ever owned a Colt Python and let it slip away, that might be the most painful gun mistake of your lifetime. The Python rolled out in 1955 as Colt's crown jewel. This wasn't just another revolver. It was chambered in .357 Magnum, hand-fitted by master craftsmen, polished until it gleamed like chrome, marketed as a premium wheel gun. Shooters quickly gave it a better title, the Rolls-Royce of revolvers. It had a forged steel frame, a full lug barrel, adjustable sights, and one of the smoothest double-action triggers ever built. When Colt shut down production in 2005, the collector market went nuclear. A clean 6-inch Python today pulls anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000. Snake gun variants and rare configurations push deep into five-figure territory. Mint condition examples are now topping $10,000. So if you dumped yours for a couple $100 back in the day, well, someone else hit the jackpot with your gun. Number 9. The Winchester 1886. When it comes to lever actions that scream Old West prestige in today's market, nothing beats the Winchester 1886. This wasn't your average cowboy rifle. It was a powerhouse lever gun designed for heavy hunting. Chambered in serious rounds of the day, like 45-70 Government and 5110 Express. The design was the brainchild of John Moses Browning himself. He built a locking block action strong enough to handle those punishing cartridges without flinching. Most rifles of the era were worked hard, ridden daily, and beat up in the field. That's why surviving examples in good condition now fetch staggering prices. A standard model showing honest use can bring in 5 figures. Special order rifles, with rare chamberings or custom engraving, have crossed $75,000 at auction. If you've got one sitting in original condition, you aren't holding just a rifle. You're holding a treasure chest disguised as a lever gun. Number 8. Parker Brothers Shotguns. This one cuts deep for the shotgun crowd. If your grandfather left you a Parker side-by-side and you thought it was nothing but a dusty old scattergun, you may have sold off a fortune without realizing it. From the late 1800s through the early 1900s, Parker Brothers ruled the American shotgun world. These weren't just bird guns. They were hand-built works of art. Damascus steel barrels, detailed engraving, premium walnut stocks. Collectors hunt high-grade Parkers, especially rare gauges like the .28 or the .410. Those are unicorn guns. A top-grade Parker in excellent condition easily breaks $10,000. But when you get into engraved, factory-ordered masterpieces, prices rocket into 6 figures. The last time a .28-gauge Invincible grade hit the auction block, it sold for a staggering $250,000. So if you've got a Parker resting in the safe, you're not just holding a shotgun. You're holding one of the crown jewels of American gun-making history. Number 7. Ruger, number 1. This rifle doesn't chase trends. It's not tactical. It doesn't even hold a magazine. But if you ever owned a Ruger number 1 and let it walk, you may have passed up one of the stealthiest investments in the rifle world. Ruger rolled it out in 1967. A single-shot, falling block action that looked like it came straight out of the Victorian hunting fields, but built with modern Ruger precision. You got a deep, polished blue finish, walnut that looked like it belonged on a custom gun bench, and machine tolerances tighter than most production rifles of that era. The real magic? Chamberings. Ruger cut the number 1 in nearly every cartridge you can name, but some of the oddball chamberings became instant collector gold. Think .257 Roberts. Think .358 Winchester. In the 1980s, you could grab one for around $400 and nobody blinked. Today, if you've got a clean example in one of those rare chamberings, you're looking at $2,000 or more. One shot, one cartridge, and one rifle that turned patience into serious payoff. Number 6. Norinco SKS. If you grew up around gun shops in the 1990s, you know this rifle by sight and smell. The Norinco SKS came off the racks coated in Cosmoline, lined up 10 deep, with price tags under $200. Plenty of guys grabbed one, spray-painted it camo, hacked the stock, or worse, sold it off cheap to fund their very first AR build. That was a rookie mistake. The SKS was the budget semi-auto that just kept running. Chinese imports flooded in by the crate until the mid-90s, when Washington cut off military rifle imports from China. That door slammed shut for good. Now, a pre-ban Norinco SKS with matching numbers, original wood, and the bayonet intact pulls $700 without trying. Some mint rifles have already cleared the $1,000 mark. The rifle that once sat unwanted in shop corners is now quietly climbing the collector ladder. Number 5. Marlin Model 39. Here's a mistake more shooters made than they'd like to admit. They let go of a rimfire, shrugged, and said, "It's just a .22." But if that rifle was a Marlin 39A, they walked away from one of the finest rimfires America ever put together. This lever action wasn't some weekend plinker. It was built like a centerfire rifle. Forged steel receiver. All machined parts. Solid walnut furniture. Its lineage traces all the way back to the 1891 Marlin, but the modern 39A hit the scene in 1939. When Remington bought Marlin, the build quality slipped. Then production stopped completely. That shutdown shoved the older rifles, especially the JM-stamped pre-crossbolt safety models, straight into collector territory. What used to sell for pocket change now commands over $1,000 if it's clean and original. That's not just a rimfire rifle. That's American history that only gets more expensive every year. Number 4. FN-FAL. When you talk Cold War battle rifles, nothing carries the reputation of the FN-FAL. It was nicknamed the right arm of the free world, and the title was well earned. Over 90 nations fielded it. Chambered in 7.62 NATO, this was the Western counter to the AK platform. Back in the 70s and 80s, you could buy a factory Belgian FN-FAL here in the States for under $1,000. Solid rifle, respected, but not considered rare. Then came 1989. Import bans slammed the door on genuine Belgian rifles overnight, and just like that, values shot through the roof. Today, a mint-condition Belgian FN-FAL with original parts runs $4,000 to $8,000. Special configurations and rare contracts? You're in five-figure territory without hesitation. That rifle that once sat on a rack as just another surplus battle rifle has now become one of the crown jewels of Cold War collecting. Number 3. Desert Eagle. Mark I. Everybody's seen this beast in the movies. That giant hand cannon blasting away in 1990s action flicks made it legendary. But here's the twist. While Hollywood made it famous, the early Desert Eagle Mark I has quietly become a top-tier prize for serious collectors. The Mark I wasn't built just to look oversized. It ran on a gas-operated system with a rotating bolt, the same kind of engineering you'd expect in a rifle, not a pistol. That setup gave it the ability to cycle true Magnum cartridges reliably, something almost no other semi-auto handgun could do. The first production runs were chambered in .357 Magnum and .44 Magnum. They shipped with fixed sights and polygonal rifling, two features that stand apart from the later models. Today, if you track down a clean Mark I, expect to spend $2,000 to $3,500. Factory chrome or gold plating, or a very low serial number. Those can push the price much higher. Once it was the over-the-top movie prop. Now it's a heavyweight collectible with real historical pull. Number 2. Walther P38. Before the Beretta M4 became the American service pistol, before the SIG P226 earned its reputation with the Navy SEALs, there was the Walther P38. Germany officially adopted it in 1938 to replace the old Luger P08, and it set the tone for what a modern duty pistol could be. It introduced a true double-action, single-action trigger system. It had a decocker built right in. It carried a light, open-top slide, and it used a tilting locking block, a mechanical innovation that shaped pistol design for decades. During World War II, countless P38s ended up in American duffel bags as bring-back trophies. Today, those wartime guns with untouched markings are some of the most collectible handguns of the era. A standard wartime P38 in honest condition will cost $900 to $1,400. Exceptional pieces with strong markings and proven history climb far beyond that. This pistol didn't just arm a nation, it laid the foundation for nearly every double-action military sidearm that followed. Number 1. Smith & Wesson Registered Magnum. Before anyone knew the Model 27, before the .357 Magnum became one of the most recognized revolver calibers in America, there was the Smith & Wesson Registered Magnum. Introduced in 1935, this was Smith & Wesson's answer to shooters demanding more firepower, more precision, and more prestige than anything else on the market. And these weren't assembly line revolvers. Each registered Magnum was a custom build. Buyers picked their own barrel length, sights, grips, and finish. Every revolver shipped with a matching registration certificate, and each one was hand-fitted with craftsmanship that feels more like art than industry. Only about 5,500 were ever made before World War II redirected production. That makes it one of the rarest runs of any American revolver. Shooter-grade examples today start around $5,000. With original paperwork and matching numbers, you're looking at well over $15,000. And pristine collector-grade revolvers? Those have crossed the $30,000 mark. Its value comes not just from rarity. It represents the peak of revolver craftsmanship, a level we'll probably never see again. That brings this countdown to a close. From oversized movie hand cannons to wartime icons to the most finely crafted revolvers ever built, each one proves that today's shooters could be holding tomorrow's high-dollar treasures. If you enjoy these deep dives into firearm history and value, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below.